Good evening and welcome to April's watch party for the Fusion Fest Migration Films. We're going to be showing a couple of films this evening, but I also wanted to remind everyone that applications are now open for filmmakers. We're accepting professionals and amateurs and students, and that's by going to fusionfest.org/film. Thank you, Alex. Um, so tonight we're going to start with putting down roots. Our subject is Gislan El Fazazi, who actually, her and Bella, our filmmaker. Hi, Bella.
Hey guys.
Actually won the Audience Choice Award this year, and I couldn't get a hold. I
Thank
couldn't
you.
get a hold of Gislan, and I'm sorry she's not here because she's so animated. But let's roll the film, and then maybe you can talk to us about your experience filming it and getting to know Gislan and doing it in
Yeah,
5 days. So
yeah.
whenever you're ready, Alex, roll film.
We find that people are welcoming, hospitable, respectful, and that's something very important for me. We saw that, you know what, this is a place where we can set up some roots, and we did. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ghazlan Al-Fazazi, and I'm an Orlando resident, originally from Morocco. I came to the United States in 2002 to work for Disney to represent Morocco in the Moroccan Pavilion at Epcot. And me and a few of my friends came together in the same airplane. We were all in the same school. It was a really great experience to have that support of my friends and I, and to have this experience collectively. And we fell in love with Florida. Soon enough, the program was over, and all of my friends, they either started going to school, getting married, and suddenly I found myself, setting roots in here, and on myself also getting my little family and getting married, having a daughter, and this was home for me. This is a very diverse community, and no matter what your background is, you're always welcome. You feel like nobody's giving you a dirty look or judging you from the way you look or the way you dress. And I love that, and I'm so proud of that. Even though I came here, but there's a part of me, or like the Moroccan part, it's still there. And what I love is basically to fuse the both cultures, the American and the Moroccan culture. In my home, there's always that little thing that's reminding me of where I come from. Have Moroccan furniture, maybe artwork, and also mix in flavors. When I cook, I mix a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So we have things from Morocco and things from the American cuisine. And that's the best part of fusing both cultures. And if I ever get homesick, I'll just go to Epcot and then everything is there. I'm in Morocco and I love it. I consider myself very lucky because when I came here, I came with some of my friends. We were friends already in Morocco, and when I came here, we stayed friends together. I love the fact that even our children now are best friends. That's something that I really treasure. You feel like this is a place where you can build a family and you can feel that sense of community. And me and my friends, we try to always, like, at least once a month, get together, get the kids together and share, a little, party, maybe food, dancing, music. And you have to build this new generation, showing them what your background is and having them to have that sense of pride of who they are and showing it to the world. ever since I was a little kid. We were taught to be part of community and appreciate the community and give back whenever we can. And when I came here, I see everybody's doing it. I started finding myself volunteering at different organizations. And soon enough, I started working for one, which I am working for right now. One is called Islamic Circle of North America, ICNA Relief. We have a lot of great programs and we do help a lot of people in need. I'm very proud of that because it showcases and it allows us as Muslim Americans to show what being a Muslim in America really is. It brings the community together. No matter what color you are, where you're from, what you believe, when you live somewhere, you want to give back and you unite. And that's very beautiful. And I see it every day. You start doing something and you see people coming and giving you a hand because we all believe in the cause. We all believe in helping others. And that's why I love this place. And it's so great. And I'm very grateful to be here.
Lori, I think you're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
2.5 years of doing this, I'd have
it. It's okay.
First of all, I just want to tell you what a beautifully shot film it is. It really,
thank you.
The camera movement, I mean, it just really captured her environment. Did Gislan share any of her culture with you while you were there?
Definitely, yeah. So when I went to film, I think the biggest obstacle that I had faced was having a flat tire.
Oh no.
So that's why there's like special thank yous at the end, because I had to bum some rides to shoot it. And I didn't know that you could be like in a group or like a team or whatever. So I just did everything myself. And yeah, it was beautiful. So the night before when we got paired, we kind of discussed some things that could be featured that's already in her home. I knew that she was going to cook. When I got there, she was still cooking. So that's why there's like those beautiful like shots of like her actually pouring things and setting the table. And then in between everything, I just would capture like the details of her furniture, her daughter and her best friend and things like that. And it was just very unstaged, which is my personal like style. I like documenting. Like I don't like forcing things.
Right.
And like it's just, you can really, I told her that the biggest goal for me was to make sure that a year from now, when she looks back at it, she can still see herself, or at least that version of herself. You know, like I didn't want it to be this scripted thing just to like win or something. And then same thing with her story. I know like in the meeting, a lot of the people, they were discussing how to pull emotion and like the hardships and stuff like that. But she just had such a beautiful and like happy story. I didn't want to take away from that. And I think it's very important to highlight the happiness and the joys of people of color and not only the traumas and hardships. So that was also part of the goal with like shooting everything.
Yeah, I don't think we realize how many diversity groups we have because of Disney, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
A lot of the stories we've told over the last 4 years are people that came here to be at Epcot or a gypsy dancer or whatever. And it's fantastic. And, you know, I think my favorite part of this movie was when we showed it at Global Peace Film Festival. Her daughter and her friend was sitting behind me.
Oh, really?
And I made a point of looking at them when they first went on screen, and she was so excited. And her friend was like, "Oh, look at you!" You know. So let me ask you, Bella. You're Filipino from the Philippines, right?
My parents are. Yeah.
How has that affected your experience here? Are you from Central Florida?
I was born in Rhode Island, but I grew up in Central Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. So my parents came from the Philippines, and then we lived in Rhode Island until like I was 7, and then we moved over here. I think, like, not to get heavy with it, but in the past year, I had to deal with a lot of identity things because of all of the rising Asian hate crimes. And I didn't realize how I didn't really celebrate my culture or tap into it just because I was afraid to be different. I didn't, like, I grew up thinking that what set me apart from others wasn't something to be celebrated, it was more to be ashamed of. But I'm thankful that, like, through a lot of like self-care and like therapy and stuff, I'm learning through just all of that plus opportunities like Fusion Fest to see that there's nothing wrong with anyone and that I shouldn't internalize these things. And like, I'm also not the only person who experiences this. It's like a lot of shared feelings that like we just don't talk about. So I think also opening that discussion has been very helpful. And yeah, just connecting with people more than anything else has been pretty beautiful.
It's funny you say that because my experience, although I may not look it on the outside before I open my mouth, but being Jewish here in Central Florida, when I left New York, I was kind of fleeing my Jewishness, because I grew up in
Mm-hmm.
Brighton Beach where everyone was Jewish,
Yeah.
and when I moved here and the Ku Klux Klan is picketing the JCC, and I had never experienced anything like that. I mean, when I moved into my house, someone had painted, not because I was here, but someone had painted swastikas on the brick wall at the end of my street. And it was the hatred that caused me to realize that I had to embrace, because like the 9 years I was in California, I kind of ran from my Judaism and tried to escape it. And then because I saw this hate for just, I saw it again when Ferguson happened. And I just keep telling my son, you're a Jew and don't forget it because no one else will let you, you know,
Yeah,
and it's kind of
definitely.
same thing with your Asian or whatever. There's so much. I just wish that we could amplify our love and conquer all that hate because there's way too much of that right now.
Definitely.
So, I commend you for doing it all yourself.
Thank
Looking
you.
back, would you do it by yourself again, or would you get a little crew together?
It's funny that you say that because I think that if I apply this year, I have found good people to work with in a crew. I had never had that before. I'm used to being like a one woman show,
I
and I
understand.
do take pride in it. But now, like very recently, I've been very inspired by like my fellow peers and stuff like that. So it's I think there'll be a little team coming to you guys soon.
Oh, good, good. Well,
Yeah,
applications are open,
yeah.
so I would love to have you back this year. You do beautiful work. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
You can't change your name again, though.
I
Yeah.
never changed my name. I swear.
What name did I have for you?
It might have been my government name. I mean, this is still my name. This is my nickname and my middle name.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
think for like legal purposes, if like say money was involved, that's why
Oh,
there's a
okay.
government name. But yeah,
Okay. Are you gonna have to kill me now that you told me that, Bella?
definitely not.
I felt like that was very personal on your
Oh
part.
no, I mean that's like my Facebook name, my government name. It's fine.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us tonight. Now on
Yeah,
to
thank you for
Kim,
having me.
and her movie is A Bridge Between Borders, and her filmmaker Alessandro Bolito de Luna, try and say that 3 times fast, could not be with us tonight. But good evening, Kimbet. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Lori. Thank you for having us. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very excited, although I'm sad that my amazing film crew is not here because there were a few of us, but they did a beautiful job. I don't know how they did it in one day, but they did it. Thank
It's
you.
amazing. One of the other films, they told me they shot on Saturday and then they just didn't use anything they shot and reshot the entire thing on Sunday. It was like, wow. I don't know that I'd be that brave. But let's go and show your film and then we'll talk about it.
Maybe because also part of it, I think that our culture, we were always part of the Silk Road. We lived in the Silk Road for generations, for many, many centuries. So we've encountered different people. So in a way, they became part of it, and it kind of engraved in the culture to be accepted. In fact, I'm going to tell this quickly. There's an old tradition. If a stranger comes by, you're going to feed them first. You're going to welcome to your house, and then you ask him who he is and where he comes from. It's a very old nomadic tradition.
So the translator or interpreter, as I'd like to say, because in the end we interpret someone's story. What I do is, over the years here, I help many immigrants that come across the borders, and when they do come, a lot of the times they face language barrier. In the beginning, it's for them to have a level of comfort. In they would come to someone who's either of their culture or somebody who's speak their language. But a lot of the times, it's not just speaking the language, but knowing the culture. And they have the sense of that trust someone because they are lost. They like as simple as filling out a social security card, right? Say application. Uh, they don't know the words. These are not just my name is such and such. These are like an actual forms, and you have to be fluent in order to fill them out. And it's good for somebody who speaks Spanish because a lot of the documents are bilingual. But for somebody who comes from Kazakhstan per se, there's no an option in Kazakh or even in Russian. So I think that in that sense, where I usually come in and I try to help and guide them in the right direction. That's just that little 3 or 4 minute conversation can change. And somebody pushes you over and somebody kind of supports you. And somebody did that for me too, many, many moons ago. So I try to do the same for others.
Who was this person?
Heads out like this. Maybe you want this one to be.
I think that Amira, she's in a way a mom to me, an aunt now. And then she's a single mom. Her husband passed away a few years ago, and she's someone who, despite any challenges, still pushes on and do the best she can to raise her 2 children on her own. And I have tremendous respect for her. To me, she's an epitome of someone who, despite her limited language abilities, trying to keep the traditions alive among the community. As I help the communities get them through the process of immigrating, she is keeping inside the community the traditions alive. All this was done by her. She's a incredibly crafted person, but she gives some of this costume. She does it for us out of goodwill, of goodness of her heart. So for that, I applaud her for inspiring us, keeping this alive. It's a work of a Central Asian artist. The sun is on a flag of our country, and underneath there's an eagle that's overlooking on the bright blue sky. So then she portrayed myself as an eagle. And my hair is sort of like connected. My hair is, it kind of ties in, and I never lose the connection with my homeland. So it's sort of, even though I'm far away, there's a homeland in my heart, and I keep my connection with the country alive. And I always look at it in moments of challenges, and I say that you've come so far. There's more to do. Алтын күн аспаны, алтын даласы, ерліктің дастаны еліме қарашы, ежелден ердеген даңқымыз шықты. I would say that as you pass by somewhere, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's a restaurant, look around. There are all kinds of people. We live in Central Florida in such a melting pot. Take a moment. Listen to their stories. You might be surprised.
So what was your experience like working with Lathan. He was a student as well. Both filmmakers tonight are students. What was that like? You know, you have this great story and you kind of have to trust your filmmaker to tell it. What was that like for you?
I think it was at first very exciting and at the same time nervous because
You froze up. Did she freeze for anyone else?
hello.
Okay, there you
Yes,
are.
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think it's a time is what was scary to be able to get the story across in that time space. But I think in the end, they captured it really well. There was a lot more, obviously, that was shot. And what got into it, I think he was able to get the essence of the story of what I told and put it together beautifully. And I think it takes a lot of strength and creativity and hard work to put it all together. I think they did a beautiful job. They were very patient. They were very attentive. They wanted to share and make it authentic, but also true to my culture, to my story, and that of a person that I want to include it in my story, and that's Mira. So I'm very very grateful. I think they did a beautiful job.
Now tell me more about Mira. She just seems like a wonderful character.
Oh, she's full of fun. She's a what I call a your aunt. That there's one always in every family. What she does a lot of work in making costumes, in making some art, and making some of the patchwork, some of the traditional stuff. So she's very crafty, and she's someone who we turn to into when we need to get that holidays coming up, or you want to sew something for that's traditional, because there isn't anywhere else you can get a traditional Kazakh costume here. It's either
Right.
somebody makes it or you get it sent from home. So she's kind of a go-to person. She also really loves keeping the community, putting all these holidays. She's always there. She always makes us rooted, right? Keeps kind of us together, make sure we don't forget our roots and our traditions. So somebody like that, I would say an auntie uh, that kind of became auntie here. She's not related to me by blood, but she became an auntie over the process.
Hold on, guys. So let me ask you something. You know, I don't think many people know someone that came from Kazakhstan. What was that like for you, and why did you come here?
Well, I came here as many do. It's probably Bello or Alessandro. About that age, I was just graduate from university. Came here with a camp council program, and I was actually outside of New York City. First stationed in Columbia University with many other international students, and then stayed in one of the summer camps. Then after about 2 months, I decided to come to Florida to try for a different program, and decided to stay. And then I guess the rest is a history. It was a sort of like try it here, and somebody gave me an opportunity to be an interpreter and translator for a law firm, and then an immigration services. So it just I kind of grew from there. It sort of like wasn't intended,
You know,
but
don't you
it
find
took a
that
lot.
that's kind of how life happens? You know, it's like we make plans and God laughs. You know, it's like me and a friend of mine that I went to school with always sort of just talked about the randomness of how our careers unfolded, and I didn't know what I was going to do when I got out of college. It's just kind of the way life happens, don't you think?
Yes, and then you meet somebody absolutely from different parts of the world, and then you fall in love and you marry, and that's it.
Now,
That's
are you
the
married? Are
I
you
am
married?
my husband. Yes, I am. I'm married. My husband is from South America. He's a very shy person. He wasn't on a in a
Okay.
movie.
Yeah, I was
But
wondering.
yeah, it would
How
have
does that
probably been a
fusion work?
true. Yeah, that was a true fusion festival, a fusion film if he was in a movie.
So how
But
does his culture affect you? Like, does he share, like, does he cook his stuff for his,
Of
on
course. Yeah,
holidays
so
and, you know.
yeah, of course. In fact, I think it was last week. We didn't cook, but we stopped by this new Peruvian restaurant that kind of popped up on Orange Blossom Trail. The location may not be fancy, but the food is amazing, and I just love it. I embrace it because there's similarity.
It's on Orange Blossom Trail.
On Orange Blossom Trail, it's called Ají Peruvian Bar, Peruvian Ceviche Bar. I
Okay.
could have messed up the name, but I can send it to you. It's amazing,
Absolutely.
and his words, not mine, that it's not quite authentic, but as good as it can get. So I
Okay.
love it. Yeah, I love it. And then I make my food. Unfortunately, there are no Kazakh restaurants here that I could recommend you to go. But maybe one of these holidays, I'll bring some food and
What
we'll
is
share.
What is food from Kazakhstan like? Like what, is it dumplings, and is it more
Dump-
Asian? Is it more Eastern European?
Well, you could say it's a little bit of mix because remember, the Kazakhstan was a part of the Silk Road, so we do
Right.
make dumplings. Our dumplings a lot bigger, and they are more elaborate. They're not teeny things. They're like big dumplings. Some people say they make the same dumplings in Tibet. I've met somebody from Tibet, and I would say it's a mix of it. We do eat a lot more meat than vegetables, and we do have a traditional meal called besh barmak, which is something you eat by hands, quite like they do in India, and it's a dough boiled over, and then there's a lot of meat over, and it comes with a special sauce on top.
Kind
So
of
it's a lot
sounds a
of
little like
onions, carrot.
it sounds a little
Go
like
ahead.
Ethiopian food, where you get the bread and they put the food on and you tear off pieces and pick up the food and eat it. Is that what it's like?
Exactly. Similar,
Correct.
except for it's not. It's the dough is boiled, so it's first made and kind of made in such a thin way. It's thin enough to where you boil it, it melts in your mouth. That it's not
Oh
very,
wow.
yeah, it's very very good. I mean,
Okay, I'm coming to
my
your
mom
house for
makes the
dinner,
best.
Kim.
Yeah, we gotta go to Kazakhstan next time. Bella, Lori, I think we should all go there. I think Bella will enjoy. She'll make a Hollywood movie if she goes there. Hollywood documentary.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and sharing your experiences with us, Kim and Bella. I want to remind everyone that this month for Diversitastic Dining, we're going to Poland. So if you want, you can go online and get your tickets. Applications are now open for the film Migration Films for both filmmakers and subjects. Again, that's fusionfest.org/film. I'll tell you everything you need to know there. And ladies, thank you so much for showing up. I truly appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everything, ladies.
Thank you. Good
Thank you
night.
guys. Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Alex.